These are the Google Buds Pro 2. They're currently the best earbuds that Google has to offer, and between their great quality of recent times and their smooth experience, I'm very excited to see how these are going to pan out. Now let's get into the details. So for starters, Google has 4 different color options for the Earbuds Pro 2. They have porcelain and hazel, which are their subtle colors, and then they have 2 brighter ones, which are wintergreen and peony. I don't mind having accessories that are brightly colored, but when it comes to a set of accessories that you can't change the color on, I tend to stick with the subtle ones. I tend to leave the brighter colors for things like a watch where I can switch out the bands, and then I can just switch out the colors as I need them. But when it comes to these being fixed, subtle is the way to go for me. Moving on to the case, it's the Apple style case, so you kind of have to lay it flat on the surface because it doesn't have a base really. It'll just wobble over. The positive side of this type of case though is that it's very comfortable if you have it in the pocket, and it feels a little more secure with the lid as well. As soon as I unboxed it and picked it up, I could tell that it was already weighty, and that's probably because it has a pretty decent sized battery, at least I think it does. It also has a very sleek design. There's nothing really standing out too much about it. It's just a flat surface. But when you open the lid, the light or the indicator for the Buds activity, it turns on. So it's a nice touch that is underneath the top layer. And on the opposite end, the earbuds themselves are actually very light. They kind of feel gravity-defying light, which is gonna have some benefits, but it's gonna make it feel a little bit less premium because for some reason, it's probably something that's just been taught to us. Things that weigh more tend to feel more premium. But in terms of earbuds, it's probably more important to be lightweight. Now, I'm not saying they feel cheap because they don't feel cheap at all. But, it's just that mental connection that is kind of messes with you. So like I said, it's more important for the earbuds to be lightweight because they're going to be in your ear. And in my experience, the ears fatigue pretty easily or pretty quickly. So the heavier something is, or the heavier the earbuds are, the faster your ear is going to fatigue. Google is claiming that this is all-day comfort. So even though I don't believe all-day comfort because I doubt any sort of, apparatus that you have on your ear or in your ear is going to be comfortable for an extended period of time, it is one that I can see myself wearing for a few hours without, feeling any serious discomfort. And in terms of the fit in the ear, it's very comfortable. I'm using the ear cups, I guess they're called, that came with it already, which is I think the medium size. And then they give you 3 others that you could choose from. They have small, a large, and extra large, I think it was. So you actually have 4 different sizes. That's going to make it even more comfortable for you depending on your ear size. And lastly, with the design, they didn't include a stem on this one, which I prefer. The stem has its uses, but in terms of comfort and I think looks as well, I think the stem is not as nice. So now let's talk about the sound quality. These are the newest ones that I've tried, and Google does release some pretty good products. I don't have an extensive list of earbuds to compare it to. I haven't tried like the Sonys or the Bose or any of those. I've basically only tried Samsung earbuds and OnePlus, and in my experience, this is the best one that I've tried. The sound is full, like in the entire range. You get some good highs, mids, and lows. And considering how small the package is, it was quite surprising that it was that full. It also has the best noise canceling that I've been able to try out. So Google is claiming 2 times quieter or something. I'm not sure what they're comparing it to, but it is quite a bit quieter. I don't know if 2 times is accurate or not. The most recent pair of earbuds that I have to compare it to are the OnePlus ones. And to give an example of the difference in noise cancellation, the OnePlus earbuds, when I'm walking around my neighborhood, I can hear the car coming from a pretty good distance away. And then obviously as it gets nearer, I hear it louder. Before that, I had Samsung, and that one I could still hear them coming from a decent distance, less than the OnePlus ones, but it's still, I heard them coming. And obviously as I got closer, I heard them louder. With the Pixel Buds Pro 2, I would not hear the car at all until it was basically right next to me, which, I guess could be a little dangerous if you're not paying attention. But I mean, it's doing its job. That's what it's there for. If you want to turn off the active noise cancellation, you can turn it off and just use them normal. So you have the option in case you think that's too much. But I think that's great because in many scenarios that could be very useful. The biggest one I can think of is an airplane flight. Those airplane flights are loud and a constant humming, and this is gonna block it pretty good, most likely. On the other end of that is the pass through, and that one to me is a bit too loud. I had the same issue with Samsung where it was just amplified too much and it kind of bothered my ear. So it was only good for very short periods of time when I'm like just listening to one person say something to then continue on with my walk or to cancel out noise. That's pretty much what I would limit it to. I think in that case, the OnePlus earbuds did a better job because it didn't amplify it as much and actually sounded more natural to me. So now let's cover some of the features and functionality that come with the earbuds. And the first one, and I think is the most important one in terms of earbuds, is the touch control. Controlling the volume is actually not a given when it comes to earbuds, and I don't know why. Luckily, Google included the swiping for the volume on this one, and they have all the gestures that I really want on these earbuds. So you have the double tap for the next track, triple tap for the previous track, single tap to pause. You could hold it and you can actually change what it does, but holding it could be either Gemini AI or it could be to go to pass through or change back to active noise cancellation. And then obviously you have the swipe forward or swipe back for the volume. So all those controls, and they all work great too. And all those controls are included in here, which I think every set of earbuds should have. Next, let's talk about the battery life and the connectivity. This, obviously, when you're connecting it to a Pixel device, is going to be the smoothest connection you can possibly think of. You're going to open it and it's going to pop up on your screen and you're going to click pair and you're done. Everything is there. Connecting to it is very easy and quick. Now, the continuous connection is another one that's important, and it's one of those things that I don't think many companies have really perfected yet, or maybe Google hasn't perfected it, but they look to have improved on it at least quite a bit. So with the other true wireless earbuds that I've tried before, like every single one of them, whenever I cover a certain part of the phone or slide into my pocket, usually something happens that there's like a quick second that it disconnects and then comes back. Or if it's not a complete disconnect for that split second, it's kind of like a staticky sound and then goes back to normal. So with the Google Pixel Buds Pro 2, I haven't had this happen yet. I've used these things already a bunch of times, many hours, taking the phone out of my pocket and placed it back in, and it hasn't had any sort of pickup whatsoever. So even if it hasn't been perfected, I don't know yet. Maybe in the future I'll see it happen, but it's at least majorly improved, and I haven't had any sort of disconnection whatsoever. Now moving on to the battery, Google is claiming up to 8 hours with active noise cancellation and up to 30 hours when you include the battery in the case and recharging. The way I think of it, if it lasts 8 hours, it's lasting the longest airplane ride that I've taken so far. I've only taken 5.5 to 6 hours max, and this would have lasted the whole time. And then after that, you could just plop it back into the case and keep on doing that up to 30 hours with active noise cancellation. So in my day-to-day, it's not going to have a huge impact because I tend to wear it, 1 to 2 hours at a time. And that's nowhere near the maximum of 8 hours that they're claiming. So the way I see it is that the battery is still going to be useful even many years down the road. Because let's say the battery has, damage and it can only charge up to 50% now. It's still at 4 hours, and that's going to cover me with my daily use anyway. So now let's talk about the price. And they run for $220. So at that price, I can't say that there's any major value in these earbuds. They're up there with the more premium earbuds from Samsung and even Apple. Like, they're not that far away. They are a little bit cheaper still, but it's not enough to really make you want to choose these over the other ones if you're big fans of the other ones. But this is a very premium device, and it is going to compete with the other ones pretty much head to head. So overall, these are a pretty great set of earbuds. They have great sound quality. They have great noise cancellation. They even have a competitive price. And, it's probably not going to convince you to switch brands. And if you're going to go cross-brand, the experience might not be the same. But it's going to be a good experience either way. If you have a Pixel phone, then it's going to be an even easier connection and a more of an incentive to get it. Besides the fact that it's a great set of earbuds. And if you could get it for free like I did, then it's definitely a no-brainer. The other thing I forgot to mention is that these earbuds also have an app which lets you, change and fine tune the earbuds to how you like it. And that's something that you shouldn't take for granted, because when I wanted to get an app to adjust the way my OnePlus Buds worked, I didn't have one. It would just work on the Bluetooth settings. And with those, you don't tend to have the same type of customization. If you are interested in buying the Pixel Buds Pro 2, I do have an affiliate link in the description. If you own a pair of them, let me know your thoughts. How do you think they're performing, and what do you like and dislike about them? Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.